All right, back again. Don't miss a day. Today we're talking about The Order 1886. This is a game that is a PlayStation 4 exclusive. And odds are good you either haven't heard of this or you haven't heard of it in a long time. And there's a very good reason for that. And I have a point about talking about this game specifically today. Some context on this game. It was revealed in like 2013 or 14, very early into the PS4's lifespan. And the whole point of the game was look at the fidelity. Right, look at how good everything looks. And the idea itself was really good too. It's this steampunky, you're working as a knight, but you use a rifle and you're hunting down werewolves and stuff in London. That's a really cool idea. It's a really cool concept. And Ready at Dawn at this point hadn't really done a whole lot. They'd mostly been doing ports. So this was their first big boy game, essentially. And it looked cool. It looked like it was going to flesh out the lineup. And it got the release date of February 2015. Now, if you're a PlayStation owner, and you were a PlayStation owner, especially in 2015, can you think of anything major that happened in March of 2015? That would be Bloodborne. Bloodborne came out in March of 2015. So this game had about 2 weeks of relevancy before it was completely forgotten about forever. And you might be thinking that's why no one talks about it or remembers it, but it's actually much worse than that, because most of the discourse around this game was discussing when does fidelity not cover the problems that a game has. And this is a really good example of that. Now, I've been replaying it. I've actually been playing it. I shouldn't say replaying it. I never played it when it came out, so I didn't have a PS4 for a while. But I bought this at Classic Game Fest for like $5. Very clean copy. I said, whatever, I'll give it a shot. I like to meet games halfway. I genuinely try to see what the game is doing before I write it off as good or bad. This game is bad. This game is really bad. Essentially, the problem is this is the best looking game that I've played on a console ever. And I need to be very clear with you that is not me exaggerating. This game looks incredible, especially by 2015 standards. Like, oh my gosh, what they were able to do with the power of the PS4 is genuinely baffling. I was floored. I really was. I was playing it and I was like, I don't think games need to look better than this, right? And this is in 2015, especially the lighting engine. The lighting engine really is what did it for me. A lot of the time in the game is your character will pick up something and you'll be able to just look at it. Again, this game is about fidelity. It's not about anything else. So imagine that this gold Jigglypuff Burger King Pokemon card, gold plated. Imagine you're picking this up and the character will like let you go, ooh, ah. But the lighting looked really realistic. It was very, very cool. The problem comes in with the rest of the game because it is not just not fun, it is like anti-fun. Most of the game, because of the focus on fidelity, doesn't actually let you play it. A lot of it is either walking around, having a conversation, and then doing quick time events. So most of the game is a quick time event, essentially. There is some freedom there, but a lot of it is quick time events. And if you aren't familiar with quick time events and where they were at in 2015, they were not well received. Because essentially, while Resident Evil 4 had popularized quick time events, they were overused so much at that point that everybody hated them. Myself included. I don't really like them very much because unless you are Resident Evil 4 or a game that really does it well, most of the time it's an interruption. It's a distraction. They're not great, and I don't really like that they're there. So that's not good. The other problem is that it's a third-person shooter with some of the worst third-person shooting that I've played. And that might sound like an exaggeration to you, especially because like I've got 2 human right here. This game is dookie. This is supposed to be destroyed, I'm fairly certain, but I found it at Half Price Books for $7.99. So go me, I guess. 2 human is bad. That's a bad game. But the thing is 2 human, at the very least, I can't put it back in the shelf, is trying to be interesting, right? Like it's trying to tell you a story. And The Order is not interested in telling you a story, right? There's a lot of proper nouns. There's a lot of what I would say Kojima level stuff where it's like, we really worked hard on building this world and we just want to thrust you in it and make you want to be curious about everything around you. It doesn't do a good job of that, though, because it never gives you time to understand what's going on around you. There's a lot of people being like, oh, well, do you think of this? Or what about the politics of this? Or, oh, we shouldn't do this because the big guy doesn't want us to do this, blah, 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 blah. I just don't care about any of it. I don't have a lot of reason to care about these characters. There's zero charisma. There's zero anything real about these characters. They're very one-dimensional. They're very existing to further the plot and not much else. And I just don't find it interesting. And it was very, very hard to get through. And thankfully, the game is really short. This was another point of contention, is that the game is only about 5 to 6 hours long for a full-price $60 AAA release. Do you see a problem there? Nowadays, the conversation around length is much more nuanced, and people understand that like length is not everything. But back then, someone somewhere had said, if you pay $1 per hour of entertainment, therefore $60 is the best value you can get for a game if it's 60 hours long. It makes no sense, and it doesn't really work for this at all, because some of my favorite games that are on this shelf are far under 60 hours. Some of them I've only played 3 or 4 times, and I still think they're phenomenal, and I don't need to play them more. Roguelikes don't even factor into that, because how do you justify or judge how much time you spend, right? So the timing doesn't really bother me, especially because now that I'm older, I really don't mind a shorter game. Like, the sooner I can finish it, the better. The problem there, though, is we don't get a complete story. It does leave off on a cliffhanger. Sorry, I'm going to grab some water. That was never resolved because nobody wanted a sequel. These guys got sold to a VR company, and then we never heard from them again. They were shut down in 2024, I believe. And the game itself is really just not about anything other than look how pretty it is. And to even further that more, a big discussion around the time that it came out was the game's director said, yeah, it's 30 frames a second. And I know that we have been making a lot of promises on the power of these consoles, but we deliberately chose 30 frames a second for this game because it is more cinematic. That's where that started. And most everybody agreed that that was the dumbest thing you could say. Because here's the thing. I don't mind 30 frames a second. I made a short about it. All the PC gamers hate me for it. It's very funny. I still get comments. That short's like 3 weeks old. Very funny. But I don't mind a 30 frame per second game. Like, as long as it's not racing or fighting, generally speaking, 30 frames can work fine as long as it is stable. I don't want you giving me some BS about it, though. I don't want you to be like, no, this was a deliberate choice. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. System limitations can be a thing. It's fine. And I would be even more forgiving for that if this game didn't have these obnoxious black cinema bars on the top and the bottom the entire time you're playing it. It is disgusting. I hate looking at it. It looks miserable. It was a terrible, terrible choice. And if this thing were on PC, someone would have modded those out immediately. Because it, again, gets in the way of what the game is trying to tell me, which is that it is a very pretty game. Look at all the pretty stuff. Cool. I can't, though, because he won't let me. I forgot about the insert. Hold on. I'm curious about what's in the insert here. This wasn't the case. It's also got Until Dawn on it. But like, that's funny. That is so funny to me. All this to say, I think the discussion about this game really is that fidelity is not everything when it comes to gaming, right? And we are now at this point where console developers are trying to juice and squeeze as much as possible out of the games they're putting on their consoles or on PC, because Unreal Engine 5 is very pretty looking when it works. But the problem is it doesn't work all the time because it is so power hungry. Whereas some of the best games I've seen are the Final Fantasy remake games, and those are on Unreal Engine 4. So essentially what I'm saying here is I'm tired of trying to go up. This game proved that going up is not the answer. We need to start going out. We need to start finding new ways to explore how to use the technology, new ways to do things. Dead Rising 3 was not a great game, but it looked good, it ran well, and it showed off, here's how many zombies we can put on a screen at once. That's a good use of technology. That makes me interested in buying an Xbox One, right? The same game, but nicer looking as it is with like God of War Ragnarok, that's not that interesting. Or Spider-Man 2 is another case where like the first game worked really well because the PS4 was like, look at how big this world is and look at how fast you can go by swinging, versus Spider-Man 2 is like, it's more of that. And again, I don't know what you do to change that, but that's what people want, is they want to see you explore the hardware in different ways, not just it's slightly prettier and it loads faster. And I don't think that's going to be enough to sell the next generation of consoles, if I'm being completely honest with you. It's got to be a genuine technical improvement, and it's got to be something that works well. Because as we've seen, just making it prettier at the cost of the game in terms of quality is not a good idea. Because while The Order looked nicer than Bloodborne, one of these two games is still getting demands for a re-release. And it's not The Order. I'll have a burger with fries, please. That's how I'm ending this one. All right, thanks for watching. We are. What do you think? What do you think? Do you think The Order deserves to be forgotten? Do you think that it is got its own cute little place in history? Did you even know it existed? Let me know in the comments below. And this is day 13 of me recording a YouTube video every single day for 30 days and posting them for your enjoyment. This is something that I'm doing for myself to get better at speaking, to get better at using the camera, to find different formats. I've enjoyed it greatly. I've done all different kinds of stuff so far, and I'm going to continue doing different kinds of stuff. If you want to support me in this journey, please watch the playlist here. It has all of my videos sequentially. A subscribe is also always good. A like is always good. Help me out. This is something that I'm doing for fun, but hey, I just like to have support. Who doesn't? Thanks for watching.